Are you getting the best international shipping rates? You might not be. We should talk about it. If you run a subscription box and you haven't yet started shipping internationally, you're going to want to watch this episode because Nick Agnetti is here to drop some knowledge bombs. Insert sound effects of bombs. Stick around to the end because it's going to be amazing. Let's go. Hey everybody, welcome back to SUBTA Studios. I'm joined today by Nick Agnetti from Asendia, and we're going to be diving into international shipping. Nick, thanks so much for joining me today. Appreciate having you.
It's a great opportunity, so thanks for having me.
So it's funny because it's almost like yesterday. I remember when we were running Gentleman's Box and we had that moment of panic. We were just in the United States, and all of a sudden people started emailing and saying, I'm in this country, can I get your box? I'm in that country. And like, we saw a surge of traffic coming from Canada. It was like, oh my gosh, how do we do this? But now today we have SUBTA, we have you at our disposal. And I want you to share your knowledge and expertise with the community. So that way they don't have to have those moments of panic and figuring it out. Let's go back, and pretend like I'm back in my G-Box days. I'm that startup subscription. I want to expand internationally. What's a good next step for me to be taking a look at? How do I start to go that direction?
You led the horse a little bit there with, first of all, you looked at Canada, right? Canada is a great first step. It's the neighbors to the north, right? For the most part, in terms of deliverability, it's usually very consistent. In terms of high scan rates for final delivery confirmation, it's just a pretty easy market to get product into for the most part. Now, there's obviously rules when it comes to duties and taxes and things like that. And there would be some limitations depending upon certain products. But for the most part, Canada is a very safe choice for first steps into expanding into an international market, right?
Is that something that I would have to take care of as a company? Do I need to be worried about these duties and taxes? How do you approach that then? Is there a lot of paperwork involved?
In terms of your manual data entry and all that stuff, that it's still all being done electronically. There are things that you need to worry about, right? You need to have the proper data in terms of you need to be able to have a commercial invoice that's properly filled out with product descriptions. Hopefully you have what they call a harmonized code.
And those are things that Asendia, you guys help with and help walk through that process?
Absolutely. And even more importantly, so we are experts when it comes to the direct consumer international logistics, right? So most companies, especially if you're a startup or even mid-level, definitely enterprise level, you're going to have some type of either a multi-carrier software integration for multiple shipping platforms, meaning something like a ShipStation or a multi-carrier integrator, which most people would be familiar with. So again, we've got ShipStation, ProShip, XPS. There's so many out there. They actually handle all of that at the time of when you're doing order entry and you're importing that information. That stuff's typically going to be taken care of once Canada is selected as a country. It's going to auto prompt you to fill all that information in. If, for instance, we are your vendor handling it and we get the package in, our customer care team and check-in group at our operations, they're going to say, hey, we're missing data, or, we don't have this in order to process this. And so they'll put the package on hold, contact you as the client or whoever the client is to get that information before sending it out of the country.
So let's talk about carriers for a second. What are some of the options that exist out there? Is it all done via DHL and U.S. Postal Service?
The answer to can any carrier do international? No. I would say that there's a ton of domestic carriers here in the U.S., right? And so that's something that really isn't our focus, right? Our focus is helping the international clients. When it comes down to it, there is UPS, there's FedEx, there's DHL Express, right? So those are all huge express carriers and couriers, as we call them. But there's also a very big postal world out there where you can utilize postal to get product into foreign country, and it's going to be less expensive, still very reliable for the most part. It gives you a diverse set of options to use as opposed to just, let's say, international economy or international priority, which also too, those are very hefty when it comes to how much they are per package in terms of price.
So how does this work? If I'm looking to expand internationally, you'd sit down with me and say, hey, where are you looking to go? Tell me more about the package type. Are those some of the next steps you take in there to help find the best solutions?
We'd get on a call just like this, and we'd have what I would call a discovery call. And so ultimately, what I want to do is I want to see one, talk a little bit about synergies, how we at Asendia, just understand and listen more in terms of, your logistics setup today, what some of your goals are. Do you have current international business? If you don't, where do you want to go? And really see if there's that mutual fit. If so, then we can talk about some options and what next steps might be.
What's a good point in time in my business that I should be looking at international expansion? Is it when I reach a certain number of subscribers here in the United States? Is it, I mean, do you suggest like, hey, look, anytime because you can expand your audience?
There's a big world out there, right? So
Mm-hmm.
ultimately, don't neglect the rest of the world when it comes to you focusing on growing your business here domestically in the United States. But if you're a small business or you're starting off and you're trying to figure out when to expand internationally, if you're having good success here in the US, and you've got traction, you're definitely bringing on new subscribers month over month, there's probably a good chance that somebody, and again, I'm going to focus on neighbors in the north, somebody up north is probably interested in your product. You know, if you're marketing well, they're familiar with it, it probably wouldn't be a bad idea to look into Canada. The challenge is going to be is finding the right partners to get it there, because for you to just get into, let's say, a UPS or FedEx situation to try and get the product over right away, it's going to be a bit of sticker shock when you see how much it costs for you to get that box to, let's just say, Ontario, as opposed to using a company like myself at Asendia, where we can do things a little bit differently to really try and help reduce those costs. Our focus has always been, you know, it's going to be primarily postal, right? So let's just focus on the USPS. We, as a partner of the United States Postal Service, we were their, you know, their largest international partner when it came to just, we were pumping the most volume into their network on a commercial level. And because of that, we were getting the highest or the greatest discounts on their commercial contracts, which we were then sharing with our clients and still being very profitable by doing so. So we align our facilities very closely to the USPS's international service centers. That helps us to be able to get our clients' products into our warehouses where we can do, you know, check-in, we can do mail prep, processing, sorting, and getting out of the country as quickly as possible. And that's really how the operation works.
You're that extension and that arm for helping people reach, you know, all these other countries with ease. It sounds like it's a turnkey solution.
It's very important for me, right, as a sales professional, to make sure that there's a good fit there, right? It's something where I'm not going to overpromise anything. What I'm going to do is tell you, especially like right now, for instance, we know it's 2021. We know last year we were coming off of COVID. And we know most things in the international market right now are very challenging. I think it's really important to be transparent about the open challenges, as well as making sure that there's, again, a very mutual fit between vendor and client.
That's the type of relationship that, you know, as a business you like to have. Somebody that's going to look out for you, look out for your best interest, not just say, oh, yeah, it'll get there eventually. You know, and that's so I've always loved about you, Nick. You're good people and have been a great friend of SUBTA for so many years.
And likewise, you know, it's been fun.